What is up, you fucks? We are back with another edition of the Doom Scroll Cast. It's your boy, Lord Botha, and we have a packed show for you today. I don't even know if we're going to get to everything. I don't know. But we're going to try because there's a lot of shit that's been going on. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have some video game news, okay? There's some video game stuff we're going to cover. Mixtape release. IGN and fucking everybody in the mainstream, the legacy games media, fucking games journals, praising it, giving 10 out of 10. And I played it. I streamed it. If you want to go back, watch those streams. They're up for you. It's not a 10 out of 10. I can guarantee that. It is an animated movie with barely any gameplay, and we'll get into it. But we got that. We also have the quartering drama. We got that. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And particularly, we're going to talk about the Chrissie stuff, I think, as well. Because I'm a fan of Geeks and Gamers. I'm a fan of Friday Night Tights and all that. I have to say, like, shout out to like Zuckerberg and Facebook. Because on Facebook, like, I saw clips of like fucking Ben Shapiro. And those clips of Ben Shapiro on the Joe Rogan podcast led me to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan led me to Tim Pool, which led me to fucking Friday Night Tights, which that led me to Geeks and Gamers. And now I'm giving money to a homosexual man doing political streams that started off as a meme and are now apparently like a top 10 super chat channel in the country in D-Day Cobra. So you end up in strange places, you know? And yeah, so we're going to talk about the quartering and the Chrissie stuff. I never was a huge fan of Chrissie. I didn't think she contributed really anything to, you know, the show. Like, she'd come on sometimes and have like impressions, and like her Frost impression was funny, but like that's about it. Like, if you guys might remember, there was a whole episode of FNT where Chrissie wasn't on the show, and like 2-3 hours in, Gary Nerdrotic is like, "Hey, where's Chrissie at?" And everybody has to tell him she wasn't on the show today. She never showed up. What are you talking about? He's like, "Oh yeah." And we all like laugh and think like, "Oh, silly Gary. He's old. He doesn't realize things. He forgot." Blah blah blah. But in reality, I think it also shows like that's how little she contributed to the show. Was that she was literally gone, and it took the host hours to notice. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Christopher Nolan and the Odyssey for a little while, because that's all fucked up. I have some opinions on that. And of course, we're probably going to do the Doom Scroll, where if you don't know what the Doom Scroll is, you're new watching this or whatever. Basically, we go through Twitter. We just live scroll Twitter. Haven't run into problematic stuff that much. There was some instances where there once was one or two times where I got some advertisements, for some lights that may or may not have been made of flesh. As you can put it together. But that's about it. I oddly enough, unlike the quartering, I don't really get a lot of, nudies and the prawn in my feed, because I don't click and interact on that really at all. Like, not just on the main, just at all, because Twitter's not what I don't go to Twitter for that. There are plenty of other sites you can go. They're specifically curated for that, if you want to do that. Very specific sites for the very specific things you might be into. You'd be surprised. And if that fails, you got Reddit, which is just a cesspool of everything. But yeah, so we're going to get into that as well. The doom scroll, where we're just going to live scroll Twitter and react to some stuff as we see it. But yeah, let's go into a few of our first topics here. Hope you guys are having a good night. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you can. Also, if you're catching this on the VOD, which I know I get a weird amount of like VOD like views. It's strange, but I appreciate you guys coming in and watching it after. But if you guys are catching on the VOD, make sure you like, share, subscribe, but also maybe hit the hype button if that's possible. That really plays into the analytics with YouTube, I think, right now and all that, because both them and Rumble, it seems, are getting really big into like the empowering the customer, right? You want to see more of this, tell us you like it. So, which honestly, it should always been that way, not just algorithm based, in my opinion, but it is what it is. And I appreciate you guys. You guys make this whole thing go around. I am a terrible streamer, as you know, but I try my best. Where are we going to go here? Do I want to start with the quartering stuff? We might start with, well, you know what? Maybe we'll start with, fuck it. Let's start with the Odyssey stuff. We'll start off soft here, right? And start with the Odyssey stuff. So if you guys don't know, Christopher Nolan obviously is directing the Odyssey movies, making the Odyssey movie based upon, Homer's, epic poem, right? They call them poems. They're basically novels, stories that were told down via Greek mythology and all that. It doesn't look like it's going to be good. The trailer was mixed, shall we say? The reception was very not typical for him. I think this movie is going to be closer to the reception of something like Tenet or Interstellar, even. Which Interstellar, it's aged well and people have liked it more as time has gone on, but was not a popular movie when it came out. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to the popularity of that than, say, something like The Prestige or his Batman trilogy or Oppenheimer, stuff that's both critically acclaimed and acclaimed by the audience. And a lot of the problems stem from Nolan's choices in casting, right? Because right now he's decided to cast Lupita Nyong'o as a titular character within the Odyssey. Though I don't think she'll actually have that big of a role to play in this movie. She does have a big role within the context of the story, right? Because let's see here. Okay. Let's move me off the gaming there. That's make me a little bit bigger. Okay. With that, actually, let's boost the size a little bit. Let's boost the size here. That. So yeah. If you can't see here, Christopher Nolan has confirmed that Lupita Nyong'o will play both Helen of Troy and her sister, Clytemnestra. I don't know the sister's name. I was gonna fuck that name up no matter how, regardless. Scytheman, I don't know. Anyway, her sister in the Odyssey. If you don't know, Lupita Nyong'o is most well known for her role in Black Panther, right? And she's a decent actress. I wouldn't say she's a bad actress. But the problem people are having with this is that this is not typically what we think of when we think of Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships, etc., etc. This is not typically what we would go for in terms of an all-time beauty, okay? And, almost the fact that she's black doesn't really have anything to do with it. Listen, full disclosure, I'm not that attracted to black women. Sorry. But there are some black women that are very attractive. And not to say that Lupita Nyong'o is ugly in it by any strains. She's not. But I don't think she's just beautiful enough to be Helen of Troy, right? I don't think that this is the right choice to play. And I think that casting a black person also in a traditional Greek role, Greeks are, Mediterranean, so they typically are olive complected, basically like my skin tone, or even a little darker by a little bit. But they're typically white. They're Caucasian in nature, right? European in nature, Mediterranean European in nature. Not this. and I know you could argue like, well, Matt Damon, fucking Irish boy, playing Odysseus, like whatever. But again, closer than, Africa. Indo-European? Yeah, kind of. Asia Minor. You get there obviously is a lot of, back and forth between them and, what is now modern day Turkey, right? But, and Armenian and stuff like that, but it's not African. It's not, and, like, anybody who want to, they're taking this whole idea of like, what was his name? The NBA player that was the Greek freak, Giannis, right? Giannis, I forget his last name, but he was called the Greek freak, right? But he wasn't really Greek. He was Nigerian that immigrated to Greece and then came to the United States to play the NBA. Definitely not sub-Saharan African, but yeah, not very close. Not very close in nature. Like, here's the thing. If they cast like an Asian woman as Helen of Troy as well, like, while there'll be some weebs out there that would actually be very into that, I still would have the same problem, okay? Like, I would still be like, wait a second, this is not Helen of Troy, okay? I think it'd be closer for an Asian woman to be named Helen, but no, not Helen of Troy. So, yeah. And they're going to be, obviously, the shills are going to come out and be like, you haven't even seen the movie. You need to give it a chance. Yeah, she might be great in the role. Okay, maybe, yes. But again, why not pick an all-time beauty actress for the role? Because I don't think she's going to have a massive role in this movie. Helen of Troy doesn't have, from what I know, a massive role within the Odyssey, right? It's Achilles' story that she has more of a role in. So I don't know why, like, this is kind of like a background character. So why not pick somebody that's more like an all-time beauty that might not act well for this role? Fuck it. You could get Gal Gadot, right? I think Christopher Nolan has probably a good relationship with Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, however the fuck you say her Israeli French-ass name. But you could get her for this role. This is a role that someone like her would be built for. She's tall, she's beautiful, she's exotic, but still European adjacent. Right? Within that sort of Mediterranean realm, being Israeli. And she can't act. Gal Gadot cannot act to save her life. That's the truth. Kal-El, no. But she's beautiful. Perfect for a window dressing type of role. This would be that kind of role. She could do Helen of Troy. It would be a good pick, I think. Or why not make a movie about the Mali Empire where you need a Bantu? Why usurp a European story? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. What was that movie that just came out with what's his name? Anthony Mackie. It was like Desert Warrior or something like that. See, everybody was dogging on that movie and saying like, oh, Anthony Mackie's not a big star. This is one of the biggest flops in movie history, blah, blah, blah. And I was actually sad. And I was actually shocked to find out the movie was actually out, because I wanted to see that movie when I first saw the trailer for it, because I thought, hey, this actually looks like it has some promise. Looks like it might be good. And at least it was something different. It was them telling a Saharan or African story, some kind of non-European story using black and brown actors. And I thought that was a good premise, good idea, something that should be supported. We say this all the time. Go make the stories and the legends of those areas. You don't need to, as you say right here, as Ian says right here, usurp European stories. Just go make the shit that is from your area. But maybe people will say, well, because that movie, I think it's called Desert Warrior, failed, people aren't going to go, people have shown that they don't want to see that now. Okay, maybe, but also maybe because it's starring Anthony Mackie, who's nowhere close to a movie star. I mean, if fucking Chris Evans is not a movie star and he's real Captain America, fake Captain America, and Anthony Mackie is not going to be a movie star either. And like the film, beyond the trailer dropping, had like zero promotion. Like zero at all. Like that's why I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it had come out, or I would have gone seen it. Maybe. I live in a fucking theater desert. I have to drive like an hour to get to the nearest theater that plays more than just like 4 blockbuster films, what is perceived to be going to be blockbusters. Because that's all my tiny little theater that's in a bowling alley plays here. That's not a joke. It's literally in a bowling alley. So yeah, we got that. This is not a popular choice, but we also got this. So from discussing film, Christopher Nolan explains why he cast Travis Scott in The Odyssey. That's right. If you didn't know, Travis Scott, the rapper, is in this movie. Christopher Nolan explains why he cast Travis Scott in The Odyssey. Quote, I cast him because I wanted to nod towards the idea that this story has been handed down as oral poetry, which is analogous to rap. Yes. Okay. So first thing, he's right about the oral history part. History comes from the word historia, which literally means to tell a story. The Greeks thought of history as more of like a tale to be embellished upon and passed down orally. That's why you have these figures and you have these sort of mythological tales, because they would just add shit to the story as it went along through the generations to make it sound more cool. Shit that didn't exist, right? It wasn't until we get to like Ibn Khaldun in like the in like the Dark Ages or very, very early medieval period, where he's like, hey, maybe we should like write down history and treat it as a science, right? We should, discuss history as like provable facts or fallacies. So, yeah, he is right on that part, but it's not like there are these missions I remember in Assassin's Creed Odyssey where it was basically like rap battles between people, and they carried over, I think, into like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where you were like having rap battles, poetry rap battles with dudes, and I was like, no, let's not do this. And I think, like maybe Christopher Nolan played Assassin's Creed and saw that shit and was like, yes, this is how it was. So he got Travis Scott to be in the movie. Travis Scott doesn't need to be in the movie. Okay, like, why? First of all, how does this fucker end up in everything? He was in this. He was in like fucking like WWE or whatever. Like, who does he know? Like, I don't get it. The greatest Greek to set quill to papyrus is totally the same as modern rappers. Yeah, totally, right? It's basically Eminem. Homer is basically Eminem, right? So, yeah, I don't think this is a good look for the movie. Trying to defend that you're putting a rapper, who's an untested actor, by the way, into a movie to which he, I'm sure, will not rap in at any point. I'm sure he will not spin verse in this movie at all. And by I'm sure he won't, I mean that he will. If this movie is narrated by him as like the narrator, this movie is fucked. If he is like supposed to be like Homer narrating the shit, no. This is a terrible idea. I don't. You don't. This is one of those things you didn't need to do, and you're doing it just to slight yourself. And because you're like, oh, well, this person is in the movie now. This, you know what this is? This is Instagram like follower like casting. That's what this is. Maybe Nolan had to make that deal. Maybe like he had to make a deal with the studio to be considered for Oscars, because clearly he's doing these like castings and this direction as Oscar bait. Like he wants to win awards, even though he built a whole following on the idea that he was making great epic movies and didn't give a fuck about getting Oscars. But now clearly he wants more Oscars. He wants more awards that in the grand scheme of things don't really count for anything. And some of the greatest directors, how many Oscars did they win, right? So, yeah. I mean, you think also about Zendaya. The whole reason why Zendaya has an acting career as big as she is and being put into fucking everything is because of Instagram follower casting. Because if you don't know, a lot of the casting that's done for movies in Hollywood these days is done based upon Instagram followers. Like casting directors look at what actors or what models or whatever have like the biggest followings on Instagram, because they think that followers is advertisement through via the actors and what projects they're going to be in, which is going to translate to butts and seats. It never actually pans out. It's a completely unprovable, uncalculable, really, like metric to measure in how well that advertising does. So, like, no, the stupid move. Everybody hates it as well, from what I've seen on social media. And let's see here. Oh yeah, and then there's this. This really got me. By the way, if there's also a rumor going around that based upon the scene that was shown and like what the character looked like, that Elliot Page is going to be playing, former Ellen Page is going to be playing Achilles in the underworld.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
If that's true, if he's playing Achilles, like that's just a non-starter for me. And I think a non-starter for a lot of people. I think a lot of people would just be like, I'm good, bro. We're not doing this. We're really not doing this. Because like now we're trying to appeal to a specific audience just to be considered for Oscars that nobody gives a fuck about. Okay? And yeah. So keep all that in mind. So you got Lupita Nyong'o, black woman as Helen of Troy. Not insanely beautiful, by the way. You got Travis Scott being defended in his bullshit casting into this movie. And you got potentially Elliot Page as some role in this movie, but definitely hinting towards Achilles. And by the way, pretty much every leak about this film or rumor about this film has been 100% correct. Everything that's been rumored about this film has been 100% correct. So that there's rumors being leaked out there that Elliot Page is going to be Achilles, I'm fairly convinced they're putting her as Achilles. And on top of all that, you have this. From this account called Culture Crusader, composer Ludwig Göransson on why he and Christopher Nolan decided not to use an orchestra for the Odyssey. Quote, "It's not like the orchestra existed back then. It was a challenge and also an opening to try to make something unique. It's not like the orchestra existed back then."
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So let me get this straight. Rapper in the movie. Because we want to give a nod to the oral poetry of the history, right? Okay. Really, really shitty defense. You just wanted to have Travis Scott in the movie because, followers. Lupita Nyong'o, black woman as Helen of Troy, which doesn't make any sense there. Elliot Page, who is, well, we know what Elliot Page is. Playing Achilles. By the way, Elliot Page is like 5'1", 110 pounds. Like Achilles. All that is okay. All that is okay, even though it's not. By the way, the costuming for this movie, we've all seen that, right? Extremely inaccurate. That was one of the big things. Super nerds came out at the beginning and said, "Oh, the armor's not accurate and it looks bad and cheap and blah blah blah." They talk shit on Agamemnon, which, by the way, the design they have for Agamemnon is fucking cool. It's the most cool Sith from a Star Wars franchise film that I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't necessarily look like the Agamemnon from that time period, but okay. So that's inaccurate. But you know what? We draw the line at the music. We draw the line at the music. The music has to be period accurate. So that's why instead of an orchestra, he reportedly used 35 bronze gongs.
What the hell is even that?
35 bronze gongs of different sizes and recorded them with synths to create a number of songs for the film.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay.
Do you think this creative decision will pan out positively, or is this a major misstep? I'm going to be real honest with you. At best, if this is the fucking music for the movie, at best, no one will notice. The best thing they can hope for with something that sounds like fucking that is that it will be not memorable. That nobody will notice. That people will be more distracted by the bullshit that they see on the screen, because it's going to be bad at this point, than they are by the weird fucking music. That's just the way it is. So, yeah. I'm not feeling very confident about this movie. Like I said, it's going to be closer towards the popularity of Tenet, of Interstellar when it first came out, than say something like The Prestige or Oppenheimer. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go over very well. My guess is that maybe this film, if they come out and they say that Elliot Page is Achilles, that's going to turn a lot of people off. It just is going to turn a lot of people off. And if they come out and they admit that, and it could even be like a week before the film comes out, it'll be enough time. My guess is that the movie's going to get probably between, I don't know, probably around $500 million, $600 million, maybe. Maybe in the same vein as something like Superman. James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn. That might be it. I don't have hope for it beyond that, really. All right. Let's take another look here. All right. Fuck it. Let's wade into the quartering stuff. So, if you didn't know, quartering's been going through some shit. Jeremy Ambley. Where do I start? Like, it's kind of like you have to have like certain like breaks within the story to be like, okay, how much do you know and where do I need to start from? Because going way back, it basically all starts with this idea that, you know, the Kino Casino boys were going in on quartering, and at that time, quartering was doing videos where he was like, and parts of his live streams where he's basically like, look at my fucking numbers. My fucking numbers are shit. But it's not me that's the problem. I'm not the reason why it's shit. It's actually the content that I'm trying to do, type of content. Because look at all these other content creators that do the same kind of content that I do. Way better, of course. But look at them. They're failing too. And brought up their numbers. And then Kino Casino covered that. And then Goodyear, right? Jeremy Griggs, D-Day Cobra, right? Jeremy Prime online. He saw that, basically called him out on his bullshit. There was back and forth there. Thought everything was good, was not. And then there was more fallout from that. Kino Casino kept doing Kino Casino's thing, calling Jer out. It just blew up into a whole big thing. And then, like, people did more digging. They found out, essentially, like, quartering threatened to flag and kick Kino Casino off of everything. Well, publicly and privately, he said this. And that was exposed. So he got labeled a false flagger, which is pretty much a thing you can't come back from on the internet, especially on YouTube. There's certain rules that you got to follow on YouTube. Is just basic etiquette. One of them is you don't flag people's channels for talking shit on you, even if it's not true, unless it's, like outright threats, right? Outright threats. You don't flag people's channels. Like, these are rules that even fucking, like, Hassan follows. Rules that fucking, like, DSP follows. Unwritten rules of YouTube is that you don't just randomly fucking flag channels. This is what got Matt Jarbo fucking eviscerated and kicked off of YouTube. Extracized from the entire fucking platform community. And he decided that he didn't want to follow those rules. And it's quite clear that either he or his people in his community, probably multiple people in his community, are empowered to flag channels. It's getting pretty obvious. And when that happened, a lot of people turned on him. And it's just been complete controversy every single day. Casino's going in on him. Then Camelot exposed the Ren Fair stream, which got Jeremy Hamley banned from Wisconsin Ren Fairs and just Ren Fair in general because of his behaviors on there. If you want to see what he was doing on there, go looking it up. It's pretty fucking gross. Like, actual incel behavior gross. Like, not just be like, oh, these fucking right-wing incels. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's legitimately, like, gross stuff. Talking about women and following women. And like, no. But that happened. He got exposed for that, which made even more people turn against him. There was also the what are the oranges for incident, where basically Jeremy was putting out slop content that was, shorts where he was basically saying, he's like, what are the oranges for? And it's just the fucking videos of somebody, a completely different video, somebody else's content of them cooking a dish marinated with oranges, right? That was what the video was. And that's the only commentary he had on him. He was doing slew of videos like that, right? People were calling him a content thief then, et cetera, et cetera. Non-transformative content, blah, blah, blah. And while all this is happening, after all this bullshit has gone down, what happened was Chrissie Mayer of Friday Night Tights, right? A stream that Jeremy Prime, D-Day Cobra, is a regular on, part of the featured cast. And he has beef with the Quartering now because of all the things that have gone on. And other people on that show, basically, they have beef with the Quartering because he's acting like a fuck ass. She decided to have Quartering's co-host. Chrissie Mayer decided to have Quartering's co-host on, Melanie Mack. Melanie Mack, there's a slew of reasons why you shouldn't like Melanie Mack either. Melanie Mack basically is a chameleon. She was originally a legacy media shill. She worked for fucking Jeff Keighley. There are fucking videos out there you can find of her doing streams with Jeff Keighley and stuff like that. She is somebody who also uses Christianity and her faith that she's become increasingly more militant on as a shield to essentially treat and talk about people and dismiss people and their opinions based upon their feelings or outlooks on that, and use it to judge people. And she was pretty much the main force behind Goonergate, where it was policing how the sexiness of women in video games, literally the old school like right-wing version of trying to censor video games, where they're like, oh, these women are too sexy, too much cleavage, all right? They're sending the wrong message to young boys. We need to censor the video games. The part of the whole like video games are too violent crowd, like those people. Shit that was disproven by people like fucking Penn and Teller on Penn and Teller's bullshit show back in the early 2000s. Like, there's a whole bevy of reasons not to be a fan of Melanie Mack, right? But one of the big reasons, of course, is that she's fallen in with the Quartering as well. And the Quartering does this thing, by the way, where he likes to pick up misfit toys from other people's podcasts. And, he has Hannah Claire Brown on his show, which basically is an outcast from Tim Pool. There was another guy he had on his show for a while that was an outcast from Tim Pool. He's done streams with Luke Rakowski, who obviously is a former Tim Pool host and all that. He likes to bring in people at, their lowest lows. And this is a thing Sydney Watson talked about recently on our stream of Camelot. We might talk about that as well. But he likes to swoop in and take these misfit toys kind of like at their lowest, bring them on his show as like a security blanket, right? And then he gets an in with them. People may feel like they owe him. People may, have a certain loyalty to them. And also, like, he feels like, he's owning the people that got rid of them because he can, like, kind of scoop some of their audience that like those people, and those people aren't on Tim Pool anymore or other shows. So I'm going to go over to Quartering Show because those people are there now, right? Well, Melanie Mack was one said person, and because she's pretty much one of the last defenders of Jeremy Hambley, and she still does the shows with him and all that, she's probably going to still do the shows until he's ran into the ground and disappears from the internet, which I honestly don't think is going to be anytime soon. He's proven to have a very ironclad will when it comes to taking abuse on the internet. Melanie went on a stream then while all this was happening with Chrissie Mayer. Now, I'm going to play you maybe some of the interview. No, you know what? No, I don't think I am. But Chrissie Mayer had Melanie Mack on, and the reason why Chrissie Mayer says she had Melanie Mack on was because she wanted to talk to Melanie about her faith, right? Her newfound faith, because Chrissie Mayer apparently recently converted to Catholicism. Didn't know that. I think it has a lot to do, to be honest, with her husband, like her recent husband, who they just had a kid with her, because I think he's Catholic. So that's why she may have converted to Catholicism, because, religion of my husband and all. But she wanted to have Melanie Mack on to discuss religion and faith and all that. Weird person to choose because she's already a very controversial figure when it comes to all that. And Melanie Mack has enough drama that most people should know online that are in this sphere. I don't mean like she's some random person online. They're, way removed from each other. No, they operate in similar spheres and have for years. Long enough and with enough controversies that Chrissie should know, have an ancillary view and to know that she's going to be controversial and bring heat no matter what. And because Jeremy Hambley, the Quartering, is banning people for saying like, good show, Jer, in his chat, and banning people in his chat for saying things like, what are the oranges for? Obviously, they're not getting answers or saying what they want to say to Melanie Mack during his show. So people decided they were going to come on to Chrissie's show and ask Chrissie questions through super chats and get, Chrissie, who's going to read all those super chats, to actually read them and say those things to Melanie or ask Melanie about those things, hoping that will bring something to light and catch Melanie maybe off guard. It ended up catching everybody off guard because apparently Chrissie Mayer wasn't ready for this. She should have been ready. There's a lot of evidence that points to the fact that she was ready. And it didn't go. The stream was a fucking disaster. Let's just put it that way. The stream was a fucking disaster. And it got worse because Melanie or Chrissie was trying to do the thing that all streamers do, where like people dogpile on the stream, like the guest and super chats. So as a good streaming host, she was trying to be like, hey, what are you guys doing there? Trying to defend and run cover, which I get it. You're hosting, you're trying to be, nice to the guests, be a welcoming person, trying to just get along to have a good show. You're trying to defend the guests. The problem is that during this and after it, she tried to almost feign ignorance, that she didn't know what was going on. And then later, when she was calling out that she didn't know, that she did know, and that she can't feign ignorance, she continued to try to be like, well, I didn't know the extent of how bad it was. And, Melanie was telling me it wasn't a big deal. So I trusted her, which, here's the thing. I do think she knew. And I think it's also kind of fucked up that during her apology stream, because she has an apology stream that's not really an apology stream, where she tried to still feign ignorance, and it's the Nixon defense, right? Deny, deny, deny. Yeah, just keep the same story going, Shaggy, it wasn't me. But she kept denying, and then tried to invoke like the murder of her father, which took place like 3 years ago. And dealing with the stuff and fallout from that as reason why she's not up to date on drama online, up to date on the quartering situation. And that kind of felt gross to me. There's also streams, by the way, and I've seen clips where she's like joking or like playfully talking about like the, the slaying of her father. So it's one of those things where it's being used. It's a traumatic thing that they obviously had compartmentalized and maybe not weren't past, but it accepted. But now we're bringing it out as an convenient excuse as to not deal with anything or defend against something. And also, she used her kid, which I think is fucked up. Because guess what? I have a full-time job. I have a pregnant wife. And I have a toddler. I stream, I make videos, I do all this shit. And I still find time to play video games, watch movies, shows, things here and there. Not as much as I want to on that front. And I'm stretched thin. But I still get streams on this shit. I still know about this stuff. I still know the full sordid details of this story. I'm not blaming my family and everything else in my life for not knowing the details of this story. I'm not blaming any trauma in my life for not knowing the details of this story, okay? Because I'm doing this within the realm of pop culture. So I'm up to date on things that are pop culture. Guess what? This is part of pop culture, okay? Streaming is the new wrestling if you haven't caught on by now. Like, it's the new dramatic thing where people fight and go back and forth and there are narratives and drama and all that. Streaming, whether it's at the fucking Asmongold Hassan level or it's here down in the dirt with the quartering versus everybody else, is the new wrestling. Except a lot of the beef is real. In fact, all of the beef is real for the most part. So, yeah. She obviously got lambasted. She had Brittany Venti on, which Brittany Venti has been, calling her out on a lot of this bullshit. And, Chrissie Mayer, that is. And when Chrissie did that, she got eviscerated by fucking Brittany. And Brittany, Chrissie was doing very selective super chat reading that was targeting Brittany. And then she ended the stream early, super early. Didn't read all the super chats. Also got rid of the live chat after the stream. So you can't see the cons, you can't see the support of Brittany. and the total felting of Chrissie Mayr. So anybody who may see that VOD may think also that like the super chats that were coming in were all against Britney and all against Britney's position, which is kind of slimy. And apparently there were. I watched the stream live, and I didn't catch this, but apparently there were mods late into the stream for Chrissie that were banning people for non-bannable offenses. I think Camelot even said that a few of his mods were banned in the chat. So, yeah, really bad look. And she hasn't had a stream since. Said she was going to have to set up a second stream to deal with this, read all the super chats and all that. She's not going to do that. I would be very surprised if we hear from Chrissie Mayr again on the internet for a very long time. She's either going to come back really soon and do a stream and just eat it, or she's never going to come back. It honestly depends on how bad she needs the money from doing this. Because if she can make money doing comedy, doing tour, if her husband makes money, I think he's like a comedy writer or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But like, if he can do that, if they can make enough money, support them and their kids, because I know she has stepkids too. Yeah. She may never come back online. It might have literally been the end of her career. Might have literally been the end of her online career. Just bringing fucking Melanie Mack on and not admitting that you fucked up. And people are online being like, "Oh, this is being canceled. They're canceling their friends. They're supposed to be anti-cancel culture." No. This is, you had somebody that was controversial on even before all the bullshit was going down with what's happening right now. That is a giant shitstorm drama-wise. She was a controversial figure. And we're going to get questions about her in your super chats that are going to be pretty harsh. Even before that. But definitely now, when all this bullshit is going on. You had that person on. You had Melanie Mack on. Then you pseudo tried to defend her while you were on with her. Then people were like, you need to explain what's going on because you're also trying to feign ignorance the next stream, which, by the way, the stream where she had Melanie Mack on, talk about her newfound faith, conversion of Catholicism and religion and blah, blah, blah. The very next stream, she had a literally active prawn star, adult film star on to talk about the industry. That doesn't seem right, does it? But you had her on. She was already controversial before. She's definitely controversial now. And you're feigning ignorance that you don't know it. Didn't know it. Then it's revealed that you're out and out lying that you didn't know about it. And that it was bad. Then you continue to gaslight and feign ignorance and blame any kind of emotional figure or happenstance in your life as to why you don't know. And then you run and you hide. Going after a person in that situation isn't cancellation. It's conviction. It's, we have enough evidence here to know that you did something bad and it's provable. Guess what? Harvey Weinstein was canceled. You know why? Harvey Weinstein was caught literally committing crimes that were horrible and abhorrent. And everybody knew. And it all came to light. Just because Harvey Weinstein was canceled doesn't mean that he also didn't do that shit. Like he did that shit. R. Kelly is canceled. But guess what? R. Kelly did all that shit. Chrissie Mayr is canceled. But guess what? We caught Chrissie Mayr lying and gaslighting and not taking accountability. It's pretty simple to me. It's not cancellation, it's conviction. And what's wild is that fucking Nerdrotic had to make a statement about it. Nerdrotic fucking hates doing this shit. And you could tell how uncomfortable he is, like, in his, like, doing this. And we're going to take a listen to it. Get my fucking, unravel my fucking headphones. I don't know why, but my headphones cords have decided to just start curling on me. All right, so let's go to this. All right, and then that. Let's do that. I think this is... Maybe this is it.
I feel bad for Chrissie. I do.
Yeah.
She stepped into a bad situation, and let's just keep it real. It got worse last night. It got a lot worse. It could have been handled a lot better. What I said Friday, I stand by, and that's a lot of what I said to Chrissie in our phone call. I'm not going to give you all the details. And I'm not going to pile on Chrissie.
What he basically said was that, like, we don't support false flaggers. We're going to, we don't condone anybody who supports false flagging. Basically, if you're a false flagger, like, you're fucking plutonium, you don't belong here, et cetera, et cetera.
But it was a disaster. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
Of epic proportions. So, and it's not...
Literally, if you watch the stream, it's one of those situations where, like, it would have been better not to say anything at all. Like, it would have been better if you didn't do this at all. First off, she starts the stream, not even starting the stream yet. She makes it subscriber only in the chat. So you have to be subscribed for at least 10 minutes to the channel to be able to comment or be able to chat, which is, fucked. Then you see her thumbnail, and her thumbnail is a bunch of rotting oranges. Why are we making a joke out of this? You ever been like in a uncomfortable moment where somebody's like really pissed you off? Here's an example. I had a girlfriend in college, and she was like, she really like made fun of the way I dressed. Now, granted, like, I didn't really give a shit about how I dressed, right? I was transitioning from this period of like really caring about how I dressed to like not really giving a shit at all how I dressed. And she was like roasting me and like going in on me about like how I dressed or whatever. And like she was like taking personal digs at me based upon the way that I dress. And it pissed me off. And then we were in a Barnes and Noble afterwards or whatever. And we were walking around, and she hands me this book that's titled like better dress, better life, like how to like dress better or whatever. And I literally look at her. I don't take it. Because she's offering it to me. I look at her and I'm like, are you being fucking serious right now? Like, so that she would know that I was pissed off. Like, I was quite clearly he's pissed off. And it's one of, those moments where she was trying to be funny, thinking she'd play off and like I'd be cool with it. And then like I'd laugh and like know she was kidding and like she'd win the room and all that. But it was, she misgauged my level of upset. And Chrissie, I think, grossly misgauged the level of which the chat and the internet overall was upset with her. And that thumbnail really showed it, the rotting oranges thumbnail. Then, and this is sort of goes along the same vein, she plays her cringe fucking comedy show like podcast intro where they're like cracking jokes, like all female humor, like my vagina and shit. That didn't go over well with the normal audience. And she admits at the like beginning of the show that she's essentially planning to like bring a few people on maybe later and like discuss this as like sort of the beginning portion of her show and then go on to other stuff. And it's like, no. This is how the stream was supposed to go. You were supposed to start the stream, no intro, somber as fuck, address the controversy, and that is what the stream is about. Addressing the controversy. It's not about any fucking thing else. It's just that. That is the level at which the internet is upset with you. And she didn't do that. Didn't understand. So yeah, it would have been better if she literally done nothing at all than did what she did.
One that's going to end. I don't know if she's doing another stream tonight.
She didn't.
And
by the way, that's a reason why Camelot said himself that he didn't come on that stream, didn't plan on coming on that stream, was because he had texted her and she told him that was what that stream was going to be about and how that stream was going to go. And he was basically like, nah, I don't need to be a part of that. That's not going to solve anything. So I think he thought that he was going to get too mad and too angry and say some shit that he shouldn't say. So yeah,
to make up for the super chats.
She's not. She's never going to.
And again, I don't like drama. I don't like it coming to my door. I don't like distractions at all, particularly to what I'm doing on my channel, and I don't want my co-host dragged into this. And we are.
Yeah.
And it has to be acknowledged. But one thing
we do have to acknowledge one thing is that Chrissie Mayr, the reason she has like over 100,000 subscribers, the reason why Chrissie Mayr has over 100,000 subscribers is not particularly because she's funny or that she has a massive following on her own or anything like that. Chrissie Mayr would probably be about a 30,000 to maybe 50,000 like subscriber streamer just on her own. She posted videos, did her simpcast, things like that. The other half of her subscribers come from this person. Come from F&T. They subscribe to Chrissie because they know her from Friday Night Tights. It's the truth. And it goes that way with panel streams. If you're on a big panel stream, a good panel stream that gets popular and pops off, people will follow you onto your individual streams. If you leave those, probably going to see a dip in subscribers too. It's just the way it is. And if she doesn't if she's not back on F&T, I don't think she will be. It's going to harm her career in terms of YouTube. If she still even wants to continue her career on YouTube, she might not. But that's a lot of subscribers and fans to be walking away from. So, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because in her stream with Melanie, she was like, I'm going to have Melanie on all the time because I'm getting so many super chats. Now I think she'd give all those super chats back not to have had this happen.
Tried to do is mitigate it because ultimately it ain't my problem. It's not Jeremy's problem. It's not Ryan's problem. But, you know, I don't know what the path forward is for Chrissie. I haven't talked to Chrissie yet. I probably will. We'll figure it out. But as far as it's really important, and we've seen it time and time again, you have to be honest with the audience.
Yeah.
And if the audience doesn't feel like, and I am part of that audience,
You gotta own your fuck ups. You gotta come onto the stream and be like, listen, I didn't do my research on what was going on. I had an ancillary opinion. I was acting like I knew more than I actually did. I haven't been paying proper attention to what's going on. And honestly, that's on me. I fucked up. The only thing I could say is I can try to do better going forward. And, you know, if I recognize that if I'm going to do this in this sort of entertainment sphere, pop culture sphere, I got to do a better job of being on top of knowing the massive drama that's going around, at least within my own sphere of the internet, right? Because the quartering is within my own sphere of the internet. And, you know, that's on me. And all the roasting that happened to me and is happening to me, I 100% deserve, you know, because this is one of those things where it's going to take a while for me to come back from it. I know that. And the only thing I can hope for is that, you know, I re-earn the trust with some of you that I've lost trust with. You know, I'm not sweeping for anybody. This is was just ignorance and stupidity on my part. And we're going to try to not ever fuck up this bad ever again. That's what you should have said. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. It's why nobody believes, really, Chrissie's ignorance. So,
right? My fellow members of the audience. If the audience doesn't feel like they're getting the truth, they will bail. And
our boy Mazza is in the chat. We have gay representation in the chat, everyone. Mazza is here. What's up, Mazza?
There's one thing if it's petty drama.
We're covering
I saw
horror
that
news,
talked
Mazza.
about a lot. This is about false flagging, and it's not about who you had on as a guest.
No, it's not.
Or that particular guest.
Which, by the way, they tried to get PPP on, or people were calling to put PPP on Ashton from Kino Casino, because he was like seeing all this go down and he wanted to come on and she wouldn't bring him on. And the reasoning she gave as for why she didn't want to bring him on was that you hate Planet of the Apes, boo. That's because Planet of the Apes is shit, dude. It's shit. It doesn't solve for the number one problem in post-apocalyptic movies, the nuclear problem. All the nuclear reactors are gonna melt down, and then whether you're ape, human, fucking grasshopper, doesn't fucking matter. The world is gonna burn. It's fucking stupid. Also, if you got hyper intelligent apes released into a city, nuke the city. Doi. It feels that easy to me, you know? This isn't a Raccoon City bullshit going on here, man. I mean, anyway, I will say the OG Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston, very, very good. Is an all-time. It's one of those like extended episodes of Twilight Zone that just hits really good. And Charlton Heston, his somewhat melodramatic acting, it comes off really well there, though. They're good period pieces in film. Of course, like anything that has multiple instances of it, multiple films in it, you know, the first one is like, hey, we're going to tell this story. And then the third one is we're going to make a Planet of the Apes movie. But anyway, back to this. They were going to have Ashton wanted to come on, and she wouldn't have Ashton on. And the reason she gave was, well, he's been deplatformed by YouTube. He's been banned by YouTube. And everybody was like, well, actually, it was Kino Casino's Clips channel and Warski that's been kicked off YouTube, not Ashton. And if he has been kicked off of YouTube, well, you can have people who've been kicked off on YouTube on your streams, And then, like, she's looking it up on her phone or whatever, fucking Matt Jarbo style. Being like, no, like it says right here, like if you have somebody on that's been kicked off, like you can get your channel like deplatformed too. You kicked off YouTube, and it's like, motherfucker, Friday Night Tights has had Alex Jones when he was kicked off the internet on their show. Like, you had Ethan Ralph on, like you've had motherfuckers that are way more hot to handle than this. But the thing is, you knew who they were, and you knew the bullshit, and you knew how to navigate it. And also, those people, let's be honest, you weren't as cool with as you were with Melanie. And you're trying to still keep it in. So, like, nobody believes this bullshit, right? Nobody believes that bullshit.
And ultimately, authenticity is all we have.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I want to hear, right? It matters what the audience wants to hear. And if you don't feel like you need to apologize, then don't. But it's not anything I'm asking for sure.
She would have gotten less blowback, by the way, if she didn't do this stream and literally just went on Twitter and said, I apologize for nothing, go fuck yourself. And then she went on FNT afterwards and been like, yeah, I did that shit. I'm not sorry. I don't care. Moving on. Like, and then maybe she gets owned in the chat. And I get that it's actually Gary that probably didn't want her on and said, hey, this shit's going to be a massive distraction from my show. That's not what my show's about. And I don't want to read, 500 super chats that are roasting you because it's FNT and it's not Tuesday night's main event where literally like 60% to 90% of the super chats are just roasting Beardo. So, Gary didn't want his show to be that. So he said, don't come on FNT. That's what probably happened. And she probably knew it was going to happen. And she's going to be in the doghouse for a little while. And maybe forever. We'll see. Razor Fist was in the doghouse. Still kind of is, with just the general public. But they've had him on before. And hell, like, there's still people like me that are like, Razor Fist is on this shit? Fuck him. I'm out. Because talk about guys that need Kino Casino exposure. Fucking Razor Fist. Glass fucking ego motherfucker. He needs some exposing. He needs some investigation by Kino. So yeah. I just don't think, like, it would have been better for her not to say anything at all, or just been like, I'm not apologizing, not doing an apology stream. It is what it is. If you hate me for it, I understand. But, that's where I really stand. Melanie's my friend. Sometimes your friends you have major disagreements with, or you don't like other members of their friend group. That doesn't mean that you just automatically, tell them to fuck off or something. Something like that.
But it might be owed to other people.
Even if it's not true.
I think in Chrissie's closer friend circle, it looks like they're feeling pretty lied to.
Yeah, like you. and Nina Infinity and Brittany Venti. So, like, yeah. yeah, she's kind of done. She's kind of done in the internet or whatever. Meanwhile, like, Kino Casino is just rocketing. And, like, we talk about finding the it guys, right? Because, like, platforms need their it guy. Let's be honest here. Like, YouTube's it guy is pretty much everybody. Because everybody's on YouTube, right? Everybody's trying to make it on YouTube. But, like, these other platforms, they're really going to make it big. They need an it guy. Like, Twitch has their it guys, which is, like, Asmon, Gold, and Hassan. Especially Hassan. Whatever you think about Hassan, I think he's a whole lot of things that I can't say on YouTube. But he is the it guy for Twitch, right? Rumble needs an it guy. I think they've brought in several people they thought could be the it guy that are not the it guy. Dr. Disrespect is not the it guy for Rumble. I'm sorry. Hell, he's already fucked off back onto YouTube. Even though he has partial ownership of Rumble, I'm sure is taking checks. But the it guys for Kick finally has it guys now. And those it guys are Kino Casino. Because look at this. Kino Casino has more viewers than Clavicular and XQC on Kick. Look at that. XQC 8.5K. Clavicular 7.8K. And look at this. Kino Casino 16.7 thousand. Live. That's fucking wild, dude. They are killing it. Awesome. And you know what? All they're doing is exposing, like, assholes. Exposing liars. Like, they're just airing bad people's dirty laundry. That's it. Meanwhile, Quartering here is still blaming other people. Now he's blaming, as Tactical Templar says here, the Quartering on stream today blamed everything he's going through on D-Day Cobra and Neurotics. Again, Jeremy takes zero accountability for anything. Let's take a listen here. This fucking thing, dude. I swear. Okay.
Admit that, but that's where all less social media. Yeah, I was definitely getting sucked into. You're 100% right about that, Devin. That was where all this started. No one will ever admit that, but that's where all this started. That's where all of this started.
He's talking about
all the way back to that.
He's talking about going through the numbers with Jeremy's streams and Neurotic streams.
They all got upset about that, but it's okay. Anyway, let's talk about this next story. I don't want to, I wish everyone the best. I wish everyone.
Does he though? Because channels are literally getting, like, taken down. So.
On the best.
Look at talk.
Dead air.
Say something.
Dead air, Jer.
Let's no drama in the chat,
Listen. I'm one that advocates for dead air, actually. I'm one of the people that says it's okay to have some dead air while you think of stuff. But be trying as fast as possible to think of something. Right? Because nobody likes to hear a lot of ahs and ums. I'm bad about that. And I try to instead have dead air when possible. But I know I can only go a couple of seconds before having to say an or something before it gets noticeable and, like, awkward. Because one of the things they teach you in, like, a fucking basic high school speech and debate class is that don't be afraid of dead air. Because dead air is better than ahs and ums. But you can't just be silent for fucking ever. Say something. You got to be able to speak. I mean, I knew going into streaming that I was going to struggle with that. Because I tend to overthink everything I want to say. And so I'm trying to formulate the perfect way to say what I want to say without just fucking saying it. And I knew that that was going to be a problem for me. And speaking extemporaneously, which means just basically like continuously and off the cuff. I knew I was going to struggle with that. But I knew that I was going to have to overcome that and find some way to fill that out. Find some way to overcome that. And I think I'm getting better. I think I'm getting a little better. Jared just sits there in silence. Like a noticeably long silence. Like it's weird. And the thing is, like, you can't be like this awkward at his amount of streamer count, like subscriber count, like, right? You can't be this awkward. Now, at my level, you can. Because I'm a fucking nobody. But he is not me. He should not be on the same level as me as a streamer. He should be above that. But the truth is, the dirty truth is, I don't think Jeremy actually likes streaming. There's actually been some private messages that have been leaked that pretty much outs that he out and out doesn't like streaming. That he hates streaming. He hates going live. He hates doing live streaming. Because I think it's because he doesn't have complete control. He can't perfectly curate everything. And that eats away at him. The control of everything. Because I think that's what I think at the end of the day, that's what Jeremy likes the most. These guys, especially like the freaky guys, right? Especially the dudes that are into some of the things that Jeremy is into, shall we say, allegedly. They're in actuality control freaks. And if they're out of control, it freaks them out. And they get anxiety. And this is, by the way, Jeremy has a crippling fear of flying, probably because of that. Because he doesn't have control of his situation flying. I think one of the reasons why, you know, if the him sitting in the chair and his wife, you know, all that situation, if it plays out literally like that, I think it's because like he feels like he is in control, setting it up and like making them do that deed. Or like it's the one time like he's weaponizing that fear of helplessness into some deviant manifestation where he can have release. This is just me putting him on the couch, putting him on the psychological couch. Let's be clear here. I think that might be it. I think he has control issues. He likes to be in control. I think what we're looking at here is the psychology of a man who grew up in his life privileged, but never could control, no matter how much money he had, no matter how much, you know, influence he had via his money and his station. He could never control how people felt about him. And that might be one of the reasons why he's gone into this career, right? Speaking publicly, doing videos. I think it's because he wants to have some moniker of control over how people view him, how people think about him. And, you know, of course he's one of those people, he'll come out and he'll say, "Oh, I don't care what people think about me." No, his actions quite clearly say something completely different. But I think the truth is that we're looking at a guy who has control issues here. I'm not a psychiatrist, by the way, or a psychologist, or whatever. This is just my latent fascination with people's psychology and understanding people like on a psychological level, what makes them tick, how they operate, observing behaviors, and then coming to conclusions. The only psychology training I have is like 2 semesters of psychology classes I had to take in fucking college, and that's about it.
Let's just stay. Let's stay where we're at.
Look at him. He looks fucking freaked out, dude. Look at that.
So the Walgreens.
He always looks fucking freaked out. So yeah, but he's blaming Nerdrotic and DD Cobra,
Social media, yeah.
and them calling him out on his bullshit, saying that their numbers were down, and that all anti-woke content numbers is down. That's why his numbers are doing bad. Not the fact that he is, not good at his job, not a good content creator. So yeah. Oh. It's been a shitty situation for all those people. Everything that's going on. All right, now let's take here's a little. We'll do this small one here. So apparently, now for something completely different. Discussing film here says that Ahsoka Season 2 has been delayed to early 2027. The first season released in summer of 2023. I'm going to be real honest with you. Real honest with you here. Just cancel it. Nobody gives a shit. Literally nobody gives a shit. Like this thing was either, I don't know if it did worse in ratings than The Acolyte, but it either was second or took the cake from The Acolyte. Like, this is one of the worst watched shows in Star Wars. Like, I get why people like Andor. It's boring, but it's like cerebral and it's like extracurricular Star Wars lore that like people want and desire, especially now that EU has basically axed all of the, or Disney has basically axed all the EU. So now they want some kind of extended universe, and that delves into it a little bit. I get that. I see where that's coming from. Even though it's pretty boring. I get why people would want to watch The Acolyte for the lol watching. For the ridiculousness, for the, my God, this is so bad. My God, this is the Room of Star Wars. I don't get why people would watch Ahsoka. It's an add-on legacy character that has been made way bigger than she ever was supposed to be. Just because fucking Filoni goons to the idea of this character. And it's gone on way too long already. And there's fucking 4 years between seasons. A whole presidential administration between seasons. Let that sink in. Nobody wants this. Nobody cares. Just cancel it. It would be okay to cancel this one. All right. What else we got here? Let's talk about... do I want to talk about that? All right. Let's go ahead and react to this. So, Clavicular, right? He's basically a dumbass, right? Like, he's a young guy doing young dumbass guy shit. He has way too much money. He's breaking his jaw, taking hormones or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know him well and his like streaming well or whatever. He has terrible political opinions. He was way too much invested in this like look maxing thing where like he basically judges people based upon their looks and what their value are to people. Like, it's all very Patrick Bateman bullshit, okay? But he had this show where he had this OnlyFans girl on, and he brought on some of her top contributors to talk to her. And he brought on this top contributor. And it was an interesting experience. From what I've heard, I haven't watched the video. I've read the context of video and what was said, but it's an interesting. It sounds like it's an interesting experience. Let's take a look here.
Hi.
It's nice to finally meet you. You're much fatter in person.
What?
You're much fatter in person.
Fatter?
Yeah.
Here's the real question. Is this guy negging? Is he negging? Because if so, like, props. Like this. But that's some wild shit. Maybe he means like healthy, or maybe he means like thick, with 2 C's, but not much fatter in person. Like, that's wild. What a wild thing to just come to anybody, let alone somebody you've played. Apparently this guy has spent like $2 million on her OnlyFans or something. That's fucking wild to me. But if so, like, my boy.
Hot damn!
She's like, what do I even do? How do I even respond to that? He's just fucking.
The fucker's gonna charge back.
He's gonna do a charge back. He's laughing. They're just laughing.
What kind of things are you
By the way, I think she used to be like a collegiate athlete or something too, or
into?
something.
I don't really want to talk to you after you said that.
What did he say?
Oh my god.
What kind of things are you into?
What kind of things are you? It's
Boy.
this one does fit.
Boy. That escalated quickly.
I don't really want to talk to you after you said that. That was so mean.
But he gets a pass. Like,
He just said like, he probably just be like, okay, well, I'm sorry.
he's giving you like millions, right?
Yep.
Bro, this dude is like shaking. Like,
Anything you want to say about yourself?
Because I'm scared.
Motherfucker, I'm scared.
Nice to finally meet you. Are you guys dead ass right now? I'm like, I don't know.
No, like it's literally dead ass. Like, it's not even a troll.
Oh.
Like most of them are like the scripted fake podcast, but this motherfucker is like actually your top spender.
So I want to know, what do you bring to the table dating-wise?
face. The face. I don't know if this is real. I kind of feel like it isn't real. But
Wait, I'm sorry, guys. I can't focus. I don't know.
his nervousness kind of makes me feel like it's real.
Like, whatever we talked about.
All right.
Yeah, what we talked about.
Whatever we talk. So, here's the thing. I don't know much about OnlyFans. But I do know that if think you're talking to these girls online, you're not. There's a chatbot or some sweaty dude that is running that account. Yeah, unless it's like a live stream something or whatever, like that, then maybe, I guess, yeah. But like,
How many wanks have you had to Alice? Would you say?
Yo, by the way, shout out to wank. Because, like, I feel like more people are adopting the term wank as, like, the proper term for that, like, action than, like, jerking off. Because, like, that's aggressive, right? You don't like saying that, right? So, like, I feel like wank is, like, such a better, like, neutral term.
About 1,000.
1,000.
1,000?
So, okay. So how many wanks a day is that?
About like 2-3 times a day.
Okay.
He doesn't do that. I don't think this is real. I just want to say I don't think this is real at this point. Because he seems nervous, but this could be like actor nervous or like general, like we got a dude off the street and there's a hot chick nervous. But like this doesn't seem like he'd know that math off the top of his head. That seems pre-planned.
Impressive. Quite impressive. So, do you have any questions for him?
I don't know. Can somebody else ask the questions?
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How far do you squirt?
Shouldn't he know? His face. Everything about this.
I don't really know the answer to that.
Does it
You didn't
leave a
measure?
rainbow after you squirt?
I don't even know what to say. I think we're entering dangerous territories here. But you get the idea here. But that where's the other video? Because I thought that was. Hold on. We're gonna have to do some digging here. Because that's not even the main video that I wanted to like see.
He's saying like, oh, let me, you and you, like, let's.
All right, I think this is it. This is the one. So we're gonna watch this one.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just to shake her hand.
Was it nice
like-
to meet him?
Sweaty ants. Where do I go?
Okay.
I do it.
I'm really scared. Like, kick him out now.
Yeah.
Like, right now. I'm dead ass.
Why would we get him out? You said Laker fans gave you over $100,000. Why would we
She's
kick him
really
out?
scared.
No, because I'm scared.
I would be too. But this
I mean, I don't really know what the fuck. I don't really know like why you would be scared in that moment. Like the dude didn't really like. I didn't see all the rest of it, but like from what I saw, didn't really say anything that was like threatening or whatever. Like he just was awkward, asking personal physical questions. Like, but like, what did you expect?
is like the kind of shit that you subject yourself to when you like.
Okay, but why are you, like, not
and he's correct, by the way.
being mean to me?
We are defending
Would you
you.
not
That's-
be scared if you were me right now?
That's why I have my security guard here, along with all my staff.
Wait, like, would
literally
you
standing
actually
right-
Yeah, and he's right. Like, why are you not defending me? You mean why am I not white knighting for you right now? Because I don't believe in what you do. Like, yeah, I'm defending you. I got security here. I got all these people here who they're not going to let anything bad happen to you. But like that doesn't mean that like I have to like verbally protect you against the words of somebody else. Especially if I also think he's got it right, which clearly he probably thinks he's got it right.
not be scared right now if you're me?
I would, but then I would also say to myself, I subjected myself to this.
Right, but I didn't.
You know, like this is the consequences of earning money in that way. Is
yeah, no, I understand.
but do you?
Yeah. Like because he's basically saying to her like, "Hey man, you decided to go into this profession that's going to attract a certain kind of customer, and now those kinds of customers like now you're seeing what they're actually like like beyond just the computer does.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
I don't think you did understand.
That was
until
really
it's right in
scary.
front
No,
of
that
you.
was really scary. Actually, that's never happened to me. Like,
Right. It's really easy. It's really easy when it's over the internet, but like putting it right in front of you, it just actually gives you a clear picture on what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. What he's basically saying is like hoes used to be tough, okay? Actual hookahs out there on the street used to be tough, okay? Now you got these soft ones here behind the computer screens. And she's being confronted by somebody who she wasn't ready for. And being confronted by the ugliness of her business that she doesn't have to think about or do with. You know, we're eating the burger all the time, but we're never having to go to the slaughterhouse to meet the cow. And that's what just kind of happened here.
So it's you know, I'm glad you now know kind of a little bit about like these people that are doing this shit. It's sad, really.
Yeah, it is sad. He's 100% right. And you know what? There's so many things that are wrong with that guy and so many problems that he has and a bunch of stuff that you should not listen to on him. But he's 100% correct here. Like, not a hard thing to follow.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Like, yeah. So, let's take a look here. We got one more, which is, let's see here. Mixtape. So, if you didn't, we'll talk about Mixtape briefly. Let's take a look here. So, Mixtape. We'll save that one. Mixtape, if you don't know. We'll use Shinobi's tweet. From Shinobi602 on Twitter, of course. Mixtape reviews, IGN, 10 out of 10. VGC, 10 out of 10. CGM, 10 out of 10. Day 1, 10. Well Played, 10. Xbox Tavern, 10. Well, that's obviously going to be biased because it's a Game Pass game. Sixth Axis, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9. It's all 9s and 10s. Metacritic of 88. It's down to like 85 right now. Official Critics, 94. So, like, massively popular game amongst the critics, right? So you'd think it'd be a really good game. But in reality, if you haven't seen my streams, it's not. I'm probably going to make a review video about this. Maybe. We'll see. But Mixtape is essentially pretentious people who did not live this life in the 90s. It's made by Annapurna, or published by Annapurna, which is an Australian company. So these are Australians doing a game about teenagers in the United States in the 90s. So do with that what you will. But these people, they're pretentious people that made a game about lives that they did not live in the 90s of the United States, about teenagers, what they think teenage life was in the 90s, stereotypical wise, and just added a bunch of classic music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, not even the 90s. By the way, there's constant references to the idea of being metal in the game, and that's not metal. He made me metal. There's not a fucking metal song to be found in the game. I don't know why. Like, it's a Telltale style game with all the like Telltale exploration and interaction parts of it, but not like actual like story involvement. So there's no choices you make that affect the outcome. If there was actual choices that you made that affect the outcome of the games and the story, that would be one thing. But this game is a linear story game. And a lot of the times the actions and the actual like gameplay is not real gameplay that affects the game. It is literally just stuff that happens while the story is unfolding. It's literally gameplay that just keeps your hands like busy while the story is happening. It doesn't have any actual effect. I would in fact say 90% of the game could be played without touching the controller. So like let me show you. Let me show you right here. This is from Michael Does Life, right? I'm going to say, I'm going to get it. I'm going to put this on mute just because I don't want, at least this time, to be copyright struck or claimed. So we're just going to here. You can see his reaction if I put it over here. So here's the game running. By the way, this game does the shitty Into the Spider-Verse style art that is at like 10 frames per second against a backdrop that is moving at 60 frames per second. So the visuals are jarring, right? It sucks. Like, anybody who says this game is visually good is retarded. Like, do not know what they're talking about. Because it is terrible. Like, look. Like, this is a part where, like, you're, like, doing escape. By the way,
game plays itself.
they have these skateboarding, like, parts or missions or whatever you call them, where you're literally just weaving in and out of, like, a preset, like, track. And by the way, the tricks you can do with a skateboard don't count for anything. Don't really do anything. There's no system that you have to, like, and if you run into, and people have been testing out, one of the first things they try to test out is if they hit a like oncoming vehicle, like what happens. Literally, if you run into traffic, the game rewinds 10 seconds, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then you just play that sequence over again. So, like, yeah. But I'll show you this. This is a part where you're doing one of the skateboarding style missions, but in a shopping cart, because they're supposed to be like drunk and running from the cops or whatever. This is like all the characters in this game, by the way, he's not touching the controller, as you can see. Not touching the controller. Just letting this all happen. It's a movie. And if they wanted to do this as a movie, like a pretentious, snobby, Spider-Verse style bullshit movie, that would be one thing. But instead, they want it to be a game where it has to be interactive. Like, it just isn't a video game. And some people defending this game are arguing that doesn't make it bad. That's not a video game. It's a interactive experience, right? But you're selling it as a video game. You have it on Steam for like fucking $20 as a video game. Beyond just being on Game Pass, on the Xbox store, it's on price to buy for $20 as a video game. Not an interactive movie experience. There are like 5 Hearts Under One Roof is a Korean dating simulator that has some of the most cringy, like, possible dialogue you could get. It has more interactive gameplay than this game. People are calling this like a backlash to like Expedition 33, right? Where Expedition 33 was something that changed and revolutionized game, like gameplay and what a video game could be, and the success an independent video game could have. By the way, a lot of people are trying to retcon now and say that, well, Expedition 33 wasn't actually indie. No. Indie is anything that is not made by a gigantic publisher, right? That is either owned by the consoles or adjacent to the consoles, right? You could even make the argument that gigantic ones that are not owned by the publishers, like Ubisoft and things like that, are also indie. I wouldn't, but you could argue it. But Expedition 33 was an experiment and a success of an indie game. And this is sort of the backlash to that people are arguing. I would not argue that. I would argue that this is the backlash, the other side, the whiplash to the other side of things like Dispatch, where Dispatch did so much and built up so much good faith in these sort of interactive comic story games, right? That Dispatch actually had strategic elements within the games too, and a bit role-playing with how you could upgrade the characters and their stats. But it was an interactive Telltale style game. A lot of the devs were former Telltale guys. And this, as it comes out, was thought of kind of like that. But in actuality, it's not like that at all, because there's not any interactive like gameplay with this. And if there is, it's like 10%. Also, the dialogue is cringe. The characters are inherently selfish. It's a coming of age story where there's no coming of age. The characters don't learn anything. They're not really massively changed in any way. I mean, think about it. Like, in the story, I'm going to spoil it for you. Like, the main girl, Stacy, she hates the fact that one of her friends, Cassandra, the other girl, is friends with this girl, Jenny Goodspeed, right? Because she thinks Jenny Goodspeed is like lame and not as autistically artistic as her or care about deep things and etc. And she's made to seem like a kind of shallow person, Jenny Goodspeed. But she's friends with Cassandra, and Stacy hates that, right? Drama bullshit. And she hates Jenny Goodspeed at the beginning of the game. She hates Jenny Goodspeed in the middle of the game. And by the end of the game, she still hates Jenny Goodspeed. Like, she helps her and to not get caught by the police at the end, but that's the only indication that like she doesn't hate her anymore. Like, there's no real like catharsis moment where like they come to some understanding or whatever. They still like, she still hates her, and I think Jenny still hates her. And also like she commits like they commit multiple criminal acts within this game, which is whatever. I mean, look at fucking GTA. But like, this is a narrative game about teenagers and all that. And like, daughter literally threatens like to become like a serial arsonist or whatever to her cop father. And there could have been a moment, by the way, at the end where the father has some kind of, cathartic moment where he comes and talks to his daughter and understands like maybe he's been too harsh or controlling or trying to curate her way to success and what kind of life she should live rather than letting her develop her own personality and her own like life. But that doesn't happen. He just says like, I guess we've come to an understanding, and then they fuck off. Like, so yeah. And of course this game has the mini game where like they're tongue kissing. So, the two tongues kissing. So there's that as well. And that is incredibly cringe, and you don't want to look at it. But it has like, last time I looked, it had a peak of like just over 2,000 people playing on Steam, which is whatever. I never thought it was going to get that many people playing, and no matter how much the industry tries to show for this game, it might get nominated for Indie Game of the Year. But if something massive that's independent launches and it just takes over the fucking like conversation like last year, it'll get bumped from Indie Game of the Year. But the critics are really going to want this to be Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards. But then again, like, who the fuck gives a shit what the Game Awards think at this point? Right? So, anyway. Again, I streamed the game. It's only like 3-4 hours long if you want to go see it. But that's that's up there for you. So, of course, because of all the music that's in, I mean, it's literally called Mixtape. So like music is heavily involved in the game. Those are definitely like copyright claim streams. So interestingly enough, I was only blocked in like Russia. So I really didn't give a shit. So like, and I think a lot of big streamers realized that after people were like small guys like me were only getting blocked in Russia when we played it, they were like, okay, I can get claimed and go ahead and do this because the super chats are going to take care of them. So, you know. But that's pretty much all I had to talk about tonight. Officially out of water. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through the doom scroll. This is the part of the show where I literally just live scroll Twitter and we see, shit, I hit my headphones. We see if there is anything interesting we want to react to. So, skadoosh. All right. Blah, blah, blah. More of that. Mixtape is coming under fire for not having gameplay, which just isn't true. The whole controversy is hilarious as a visual novel fan. Like, here's the thing. I like visual novels, right? That whatever this guy wants to call it. I like Telltale games. I like Dispatch. Like, I like those genres of game. That genre of game. This is not that. It has no gameplay to it. It's literally just like, make your shitty movie and put it on Netflix. If this was a movie or a TV show or whatever, and they did it and they put it on Netflix or Amazon or wherever the fuck they wanted to put it, it would be more palatable, and I think people would like it more and get actually a bigger audience. But as a video game, it's just not going to pass the sniff test. It doesn't have enough gameplay to qualify. If they had made it a show, put it on, people might have cared. Maybe rounded out the characters, gave them a little bit more depth and insight. But yeah. And people are saying like, oh, it's 90s nostalgia. No, it's not nostalgia, all right? Because these people are, the 90s, this is revisionist, like, the 90s weren't like this, okay? Dude, like, you're pining for a world that didn't exist. Especially your life. The chances are was your life was not like this in the 90s. This is what pop culture is telling you some people's life in the 90s was. It wasn't for the most people. Besides the third act being non-existent, I think it was pretty good. Oh, there was the Punisher special was tonight. I've heard mixed things. I've heard it was absolute shit from some people, and then I've heard from some people it was good. So we'll see. And the 2026 Game of the Year goes to me. Yeah. Dreaming, bro. Dreaming on that. What the hell? Michael Fassbender literally slammed Gina Carano's head into the wall in Haywire 2011. She said, no problem slamming into the thing. So I said, Jesus fuck. She's selling the role, I guess. Let's see what Neurotic actually has to say. Punisher, the last kill, had some neat kills with Frank in the sweatshirt after he was sad for the first half of the 43-minute special. The costume goes on in the last minute. It feels like it's missing an entire act. John Bernthal is great. Wish they gave him more to work with. I mean, I guess. Well, I might watch. I haven't watched any of that shit, so I might not. The Punisher one last 2020. Oh yeah, I did hear that the special effects are bad, like really, really bad. Damn, I was so sure they be crushing puss. Stranger Things co-stars Finn Wolford and Noah Schnapp are reportedly dating. I don't think so, because Finn Wolford, I'm pretty sure, likes girls. So, what is it, Culture? Is this a parody website? This might be Culture Cave publishing this and satire. Yeah. Damn, my boy Rut Knight got taken in. He got taken in. Sorry, we're jihading live. Skadoosh. All right. Gave you some quartering level dead air there. You gotta admit, this picture is peak fire. The fuck? Why is Sean Ed? You know what? Never mind. There's a little bit of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy written in 1979, where the heroes come upon an intergalactic flight has been grounded for thousands of years. Its automated systems told it not to launch until it was fully stocked up with lemon-soaked paper napkins for the comfort of its passengers, but the surrounding civilization collapsed and the napkins never arrived. Consequently, it put all the passengers into hibernation, waking them once every few hundred years for coffee and biscuits, until such time as another civilization might arise and restock its lemon-soaked paper napkins. The guide is more accurate and prophetic account of modernity than most very serious science fiction writers could dream of creating. What is this all about? Pirate Nation, Andon Labs tests their AI agent Mona, built on Google's Gemini, by letting it manage a real-life cafeteria in Stockholm for 2 weeks on a $21,000 budget. Mona spent heavily on unnecessary supplies, including 6,000 napkins. We're not Yep. The robots have a way to go, guys. But real talk, those robots will be pleasuring us before they're running anything for us. So, trust me. So sick, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Fuck the purists. Lock comments. Y'all ain't got a defense for how terrible Rings of Power is. This person says, I'm sorry. Rings of Power is so sick. They nailed the history. I don't care. Fuck the purists. What? All right. So this person's just retarded. What is it? Okay. So, yeah. Shitposter. So, we had a good thing. You stupid son of a bitch. With channel. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, is that supposed to be Melanie Mac? It's like Breaking Bad with the quartering. Yeah. Before and after Chrissie Mayr, a Star Wars girl. When you have to use AI to create an image of me because you can't find a current one, it's pretty pathetic. Also, I knew Chrissie in the first photo, so this is just double retarded. So, I mean, I guess. Janelle Monáe praises writer-director Alicia Harris' work in Is God Is? The way she was able to bring this gothic southern revenge film to life is just really remarkable. When I found out who else was going to be involved, I knew it was going to be special. I mean, here's the thing. I've seen this, like, promos for this. It's like the dad was like an evil preacher who like burned the mom and like one of the kids, and now they're like on a revenge to like end him, you know, and all that. And it's, listen, not my cup of tea. Obviously not advertised to me, but hey, we keep telling minorities and other groups of people, hey, go make your own movies, right? And it looks like they want to do it. Like, go ahead. Like, if it's good, people will say it's good. Look at Sinners, right? Generally, where the fuck did all of it go so wrong? The fantasy we want. Okay, the fantasy we get for some reason. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm still looking forward to Fable. I think Fable's going to have more leeway with it. Knight's Path, we have to go back. Knight's Path is really fucking based. Like, really, look at all these people that are now following Knight's Path. It used to be like just Vera Dark, and I think like maybe Nazmir followed this. But now like all these people now that they know that the game is based, look at fucking Asmongold is following them. Like, now that these people know that the game like creators are based, they want to follow them, which is kind of fucked up that your political opinions can have that much effect on it. Directive 8020 hasn't even cracked the Steam Top 100 and has a peak of 3,072 players. I hate this term, but it seems that go woke, go broke is a real thing. I guess. I don't know. Like, I think this is a sequel to I don't remember what, but like, yeah, they have the strong black woman main character, so yeah, kind of, yeah. Corporal review bombing. Scores are, yeah, it is review bombing. Mixtape is getting review bombed by the critics. Positive review bombing. So, color me shocked. Dave Filoni says his favorite Star Wars character is Ahsoka. Yeah, well, he created Ahsoka. Like, Ahsoka is literally his girlfriend. Like, we know this. And George just signed off on it because he was like, it's content that I don't have to actually create. Go ahead. Stardew Valley creator Concerned Ape has indicated that a future update might add the ability for players to cheat on their in-game spouse. What? I didn't even know you could have spouses in Stardew Valley. He explained this way, in a sandbox game, you should be able to do wicked things to give players maximum freedom and choice. He originally wanted players to have affairs and even break up existing NPC marriages to create more dramatic storylines. Right now in Stardew Valley, you can already date and marry any of the romanceable villagers. I don't know why I fucked up villagers. I'm getting the pasty mouth because I'm talking so much. Get caught and face jealousy and relationship penalties, blah, blah, blah. Divorce your spouse, blah, blah, blah. But there's no built-in mechanic for infidelity. While married, the potential features, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the only problem with Stardew Valley and, like, it's fucking bit art. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I know this makes me pretentious, but, like, bit art in modern gaming, like, I'm just not about it. Like, you gotta be, like, semi-realistic. Like, it doesn't have to be good realistic graphics, but it has to be realistic graphics, and it can't be just, you know, pixelated bit art. Like, no. Drake's most anticipated album of his career. I don't think that's true. Iceman is officially releasing for. So Dom Luker is a Drake fan, clearly, because I don't know where the fuck he's getting that. Elon Musk, Sam Altman, and the world's billionaires are terrified of the Google AI genius behind a 25-year-old computer game because they think he might actually end up controlling God.
What the hell is even that?
Okay.
I don't even know what that means. You mean Predator enthusiast Zoe Quinn who talks fun? Oh fuck. I don't know much about the Zoe Quinn stuff. I feel like at one time I knew more about it, but not anymore. But yeah, whenever I see Madam Savvy, I know I'm about to see a massive fucking rabbit hole that if I don't already know what's going on, like I'm just gonna avoid because like it's too much. It's too much information. Creepy hockey mask reveal. All right. Slop craft content. Oh my god, you can believe this sick bitch. She's joking about my you know what on my birthday. I hope I find Mersh Bloody Ball. What the fuck is this? I don't even know who this is. Damn, dude. I don't know who you are, but damn. Gooning on Rumble is, I mean, hey, shout out. This is exactly why women shouldn't be in law enforcement, politics, military, positions of power. I dare one woman to argue this with me. Oh, she's panicking? Yeah, it's a woman panicking. What's the Dermy Wormy? Wait, bro. Wait. This guy, by the way, massive, like, stand for the quartering. Like, wait, bro. He threatened to totally own me on his channel nobody has heard of tonight. Don't poke this unnoticeable bear, okay? For which we know the consequences. What? You look angry. Don't worry. I got plenty of for Chrissie as well as Jared, blah, blah, blah. He's getting into a fight with Dermy Wormy. And Dermy Wormy loves to fucking fight online. I don't know anything about Dermy Wormy. I know there's like maybe controversies with him. But I know he likes to get on fights online all the time. And he was 1,000% right about the redheaded libertarian. He was justified. So let's... What is this here?
What have you been watching?
I don't know. Just some stuff. Okay.
Just Dermy Wormy and Smash JT. That's
Dermy Wormy is so entertaining. I will say I have been watching Dermy Wormy. Yeah. So entertaining.
Well, there's Dermy Wormy late
Dermy
and
Wormy!
Kada.
Hey,
shout out. Damn.
Hey, and Kada. Fuck you.
Hell yeah.
Calm down, little guy.
She called him little guy.
Little
guy! My
goodness! Can you step
Calm
as a
down,
term?
little guy.
That's crazy.
Yo,
I don't really know what this
guys,
clip has
listen.
to do with.
Midget we met Kada. We met Kada in person. Steph is taller than Kada.
Yeah,
Damn. I don't really know like what. I don't really know like what that had to do with the fight that was going on, but like, I guess he's trying to say like, I know the guys on Tuesday nights, man. I know the G&G guy. All right, cool, but like, sure, Dermy. I don't know if that's owning that guy, but and that guy's this guy has a fucked opinion about Jeremy, so I mean the quartering, so Twin Peaks is weird. Thought-provoking and heavily influenced a ton of modern TV shows. It's one of the most iconic shows of all time, and you can watch it for free on Pluto. Just IGN is just running ads for Pluto TV now. Just, what are we doing? Horizon, Hellblade, Last of Us, Dark Souls. Graphics do not matter ever. I mean, they do a little bit. Andy War. Okay, what does this person say? Leah Sapienti? Andy Worski and PPP of Kino Casino exposed Chrissie Mayer for knowing about the details of the quartering drama before the stream with Nina Infinity and the stream before Melanie Mack. Chrissie's current narrative stating that she couldn't recall what happened on Nina's stream as a lie. Well, anytime you say, I can't recall, the Alberto Gonzalez of the Bush administration defense, I don't recall, is a lie because she naturally brought it up and naturally knew what was going on. She also completely throws Nina under the bus, allowing Nina to take the heat for Chrissie's lies. So let's see here.
There's Nina Infinity. There's Chrissie. There's Verbal Riot. And wait, what's that on screen? What's that up there? Why, it's the quartering melting down on Twitter.
Yeah.
About how he's going to scalp Stuttering Craig and destroy everybody. Sounds like maybe Chrissie lied. Sounds like maybe Chrissie knew. But just to remove any shadow of a doubt, here we have the live stream clipped up where Chrissie is told pretty much the entire lore of everything that went down 2 weeks before the live stream.
Okay.
Chrissie knew.
People lie here and there, but to your whole story is a lie. I just can't imagine how stressful that is to.
Oh, that's that's rough.
Oh, really?
There's too many.
The cosmic divine irony of Chrissie saying,
Yeah, it's ironic.
Chrissie, it is
actually
tough.
poetic,
It is
bro.
tough. It is tough when you're lying like that, isn't it, Chrissie? Isn't it? It must be really stressful going through what you're going through now because you lied and lied and lied to so many people and you've had to twist and contort yourself in so many different ways that you can't even keep the lies straight and you've been completely exposed. Gee, that would be stressful,
Exposed!
Fast forward 2 weeks. This is crazy.
Like internet detectives, man, to tell these big lies and think you're gonna get away with it, man.
Yes.
Tell him, Verb.
Expose.
Bull Riot, the cosmic divine irony of all of this.
But the funny thing with Jer's lies and Chrissie lies and Mel's lies, it's they're not even gay oppish enough to be kind of hidden and
They're just overt lies, right? As the mustache man once said, right? You can tell a lie, tell a big lie, right? Because people are more likely to believe a big lie than a small one. Of course, I don't think that's true, and he's probably meffed out of his mind when he was saying that. Because small lies are easier to believe because, they typically have a moniker of truth to them.
Leak months ago, it's instantaneously destroyed.
This is a retroactive feltoning from God for what Chrissie has done. I really believe that.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to find out. There's an art to grifting, man, and the good ones.
Yeah,
the good
just
ones, you
ask-
can't even tell they're doing it.
Just ask the quartering.
Nina's been badass about this whole situation too. Props to Nina Infinity.
It was definitely an
Quartering
art.
is a bad grifter.
Exactly.
I love how everyone just hates him. Everyone's quartering. Oh, fuck quartering.
Because it's once you lose that art.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're on the outs, Chrissie.
All right, let's.
She knew.
She knew before.
Wanting to.
I really don't like him lying about
a complete grifter that turned just went against everything he was ever claiming to be, which was free speech and wanting to.
I really don't like him lying about you because I heard that
Okay, so it's okay.
he maybe copy struck some
Wait,
channel.
wait.
She knew.
She knew.
So he was flagging people. He was claiming people.
She knew before Nina even told her Andy.
I thought Nina told.
Expose. You are exposed.
No.
She knew. She brought it up. But when it came time for Melanie Mack to come on, she didn't know a single thing.
Yeah, she didn't know shit.
God.
They were supposedly lying about his wife or something, but
wait, you knew the whole.
She knew.
We didn't lie about anyone's wife.
She knew the whole lore. She knew the whole lore.
She knew everything.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm also not. I'm not up on it.
Oh, but she knows, but she doesn't know.
Oh
That's
my
real convenient. But now Nina's going to educate you. Verbal Riot's going to educate you on the stream publicly that this is. And then you
she bring
Because I'm surprised he hasn't gone after Brittany Venti. Like I'm shocked.
Now
Yeah.
he
I think
can't-
it speaks.
He can't like call his fucking.
So yeah, like it's pretty clear proof that like she knew everything. Like, shot for the second time, blocked part 2. Take my son. Fucking this guy. Fucking. I wonder if actually. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. Okay, all right. I hadn't been seeing his posts, Nicola's posts, in a while, so I thought maybe I was blocked. Because I be in his replies, talking some shit sometimes. So, but Josh, the editor, Alex, oh no, it's Alex's editor of his live stream videos and all that. He is blocked from Nicola again. It's funny. The worst games of 2026. High Guard, Reluted, Mixtape, Marathon. You know what's fucked about this? We still have more. We still have more failures that we know are in the bag, coming down the pipeline. We still have fucking Fair Games that has to drop. Fair Games. We have so many more L's that are going to come through. Dude. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Back in high school when I went for San Simp, it looks like. Fortunately, JDA has done the same thing to me numerous times. After I cut him off for being a terrible person, he continued using my work while hiding behind phrases like a source said. Yeah. JDA is kind of not a good person. What the fuck? Quartering and Chrissie Mayer were out getting drunk and planned to go to a gentleman's club together. Just the two of them. Something strange is going on. Are they way closer than we thought? Is PPP right about his theory that greasy stuff is happening behind the scenes? Oh yeah, that like Chrissie is getting like fed people for the end in the industry that she likes to cover to Jeremy and all that, and yeah. So let's go back to the top. Sydney Sweeney shares montage with Scooter Braun. I don't know who he is, but shout out, dude. So he is the guy, man. I mean, hon, I had a baby and I'm in better shape now than I was before. Let's see what you look like. She's way fatter too. Hey, that's what the guy said to the girl with clavicular. Controversial stream aside machine. 100. Damn, dude. Copium gas.
You are coping and seething.
It's a good one, rough night. Hey, Matt Jarble, unless you want to spend every waking moment of every stream discussing Chrissie, Melanie, and Quartering with their super chatters, they gotta let Chrissie go. This is the biggest story of the year. Chrissie got herself involved, and she has become a liability to these zeros who just want to pretend to hate Marvel Disney for a living. Neurotics probably he fucking tags Neurotic like Neurotic is a fuck if he probably needs to let her go. Let D-Day Cobra say it was his idea. EVS is right in that, like, his assessment here that they need to let her go because of the situation, but he also is trying to basically dunk on them and say that he hates these people like he normally does. So please rage bait me. No, Ricky Berwick. No! Fuck off. Hey, at Paul Tassi, now that I was proven right that Marathon was a dud and bomb, you need to unblock me like you said you would. I doubt he's going to do that. Paul Tassi is an old school block. Hey, he blocked me real quick, like this fucker. It's a very idealized picture of him, by the way. I know Gina Carano will kill it, and drunk people will be acting goofy in the background. Yeah, he'll probably be eating popcorn, spilling it on himself. Anna Faris and Regina Hall parody the Call Her Daddy podcast for a scary movie. Yeah, okay. Cool. Not going to listen to it. When I gave a talk at high school yesterday, I asked what games they're playing. Nobody said Soros, Marathon, or Mixtape, or Crimson Desert. It was Tamagotchi Life. So, mobile gaming, yeah. Along Came a Spider is a better thriller than 95% of what Hollywood shits out today. I guess so. I don't know. Age was in the number. You're stunning. Oh yeah, this is the cringe, like, who is this? Tebow?
Here, this will all.
This is the cringe climax of Mixtape.
I want you to understand. This ain't a catastrophe. It's a warning. Daddy, if you trap me here, this will only be the beginnings of my wicked ways.
This sounds like lyrics. I don't know if they are lyrics or what the lyrics are to, but it sounds like lyrics.
Cause I'm angry and I'm wired and I'm fixing for a whole lot of trouble. If you make me stay here, I'm gonna burn the whole fucking place down.
Yeah. So she basically, I don't know, threatens domestic terrorism in some kind of way, or that she's just going to continue to act up in certain ways and worse to her father. So, yeah. Multiple players have posted examples in which, while the game prompts for input, the player actually doesn't have to press a single button, and the segment keeps playing. Yeah, you got community noted, right? Let's go ahead. Let's rate. Yes. Just submit, because that is an accurate community note. Good job, community notes. He's back on the streets and back in the crosshairs. The Rockford Files. Premiering in January. So, David Boreanaz? Why? Remember when David Boreanaz was in the Shakespeare movie? In Romeo and Juliet? It's fucking Benvolio? My man has gotten old. He's got the puffy cheeks. And he's got the inverting lower lip. The old man inverting lower lip. That's wild, dude. It's weird to see, guy. This dude was a fucking heartthrob in the early 2000s. Late 90s. Fucking Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It won't be authentic Rockford Files reboot unless it's 6 seasons of a hungover David Boreanaz getting punched in the gut and stuffed into the trunk of his car. Yeah, because I think it was James Garner that did the original Rockford Files or something like that. The detective show. Which, by the way, hey, David Boreanaz doing another detective show. What a shock. Tim Allen, climate change is real. What can I do about it? Unless use less plastic. I put solar on my house. Well, all that bullshit that you did, Tim, didn't add up to 1/1,000,000th of the trips you've taken on that private plane. Yeah, I mean, like, first off, so if climate change is real, if global warming is real, right? Can we have a conversation about why fucking what's his name? The Vice President Al Gore. Why Al Gore was telling me an inconvenient truth in like the early 2000s, the early noughts, that like by like 2013, there was going to be like 0 polar ice shelf left in like the Antarctic or something, or the Arctic, whatever. And there's like thousands of miles of ice shelf there to this day. Like maybe, just maybe, the people who have been screaming it's the end of the world due to climate since, I don't know, the 19-teens, 20s, to some extent, always, up until like now, every decade they're like, we're 3 to 7 years from the point of no return every decade, and nothing has happened. Maybe, just maybe, it's bullshit. In the same way that, like, when Alex Jones gets on and says, oh, they're building FEMA camps and we're all getting put into FEMA camps, and it doesn't happen after 1-2 decades, maybe it was all just bullshit. Maybe. Should take it with a grain of salt. Not fully trust people about everything all the time. You know, that's why I don't trust it. But even then, like, even if that was real, guess what? In the late 1800s, people were worried about the growing population problem because they assumed that the growing population meant that there were going to be a growing number of people that needed to ride horses for travel. And that the use of horses for travel, being so compacted with horses and having so many horses within the population, would create a massive manure problem. Just horse shit everywhere. This is a real thing people were afraid of. How were they going to deal with the horse poop? All the horse poop by the 1970s. But then you know what happened? The car was invented. Suddenly, horse travel became just like vinyl records has become. Something niche that only certain people do for careers or because they like it. So yeah. There's I don't know. Let's see here. Let's scroll through a little bit more, and then we'll probably, yeah. Zoomers are so jealous of millennials vibes, and they want, and that we experience the final years before civilization collapse set in. I mean, I guess, again, it's always looking back at nostalgia of things you didn't actually experience. Like, the early 2000s had a culture, but the late 90s, early 2000s, like, The Matrix, I think, really got it right. Like, when they said that was the peak of civilization. As someone that was a teenager in the 90s, I'm struggling to understand the music choices and Mixtape. None of it was listened to in suburbia. No Sublime, 311, Pearl Jam, Aerosmith. Good God, so much Aerosmith in the 90s. It's true. Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana. But yeah, exactly. None of the music they play in Mixtape is 90s based, even though it's supposed to take place in the 90s. It's all 60s, 70s, and 80s music. Angry Badger says, The Punisher One Last Kill was everything I thought it was going to be. That's not a good thing. Good to know. Next time an actor says, I wrote it, stop. Yeah. I feel like anybody denying that rap often a foreign poet. Okay, yeah. It's funny. If your passion is project is good, it won't matter if folks try to review bomb it. It will find success. Real gamers will advocate for good games. Yeah. The point of Mixtape is it allows you to relate the last few days of being young. I'd agree if it wasn't for the fact that these characters are some of the most unlikable, unrelatable people I've ever seen. The fact that you can relate to these three tells me everything. Yeah. There is a part, by the way, where the main character Stacy here, after her friend Cassandra gets told by her dad, like, literally do not go to this party where we think there's going to be that we think is going to happen. It's going to be illegal to go there. Do not go there. You're grounded. You're not allowed out. And he goes in on her pretty hard. The first thing she says is, you got to find a way to sneak out and get to that party. She doesn't say, shit, he really like laid into you. Are you okay? Like, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. She's just like, oh, you got to find a way to get out. Like, only thinking about it, because if she doesn't get out, like, it affects her, like, Mixtape and last day or whatever, because she's only thinking about herself, how she needs her last day with her perfect Mixtape and their perfect outing before she fucks off to New York to give her Mixtape to a music producer. Like, exactly. It's dumb. Before AI, there was me. No editing. All life. Am I the best Super Mario? I am the best Super Mario. Damn. That's high production. Some high production right there. He's actually a very well-adjusted heterosexual Muslim man. Have everyone in existence call him a gay incel. He's driving on the interstate right after eating Chipotle. Stage a car accident that blocks. Siraj Hasmi is underrated Twitter, man. It's funny. I see everyone talking about Mixtape isn't a game or how Mixtape is cringe millennial slop. I don't see many people talking about how this game came to be and where the money came from, and that's far more important. Mixtape funding deep dive video below. Please watch. Honestly, I think his name is Leon, Words of Paradise. It honestly isn't, though. Because at the end of the day, I know, like, rich assholes, Larry Ellison's, like, daughter made this game, like, and the funding came for it from that, and, like, it's being pushed and shilled probably because of that, and they were able to afford to buy off journos to shill and push it. You know, speculation, of course. But, like, okay, the fact is that gamers don't get fooled by all that, and it's just shit. So let's just talk about how it's shit. Let's just talk about how it's bad and move on. And that these people, no matter what their money, don't control us. You don't need to go down the rabbit hole and be like, oh, these guys that are experimenting on us, and they're turning the frauds gay. Okay, cool. What are we going to do about it? Fucking nothing. We're going to continue to not buy their shit. That's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to just do what we were already doing. Not buy their shit. What, you want to go full grums? You want to start a petition? Force them to read it? Then throw it out in the trash? Okay, cool. It doesn't do anything. Like, this is stupid. Anyway. Alright. There's other stuff. Thor 1 came on, and my God, there are some great moments in this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fucking Hillary Duff, dude. Wood to the max on Hillary Duff. Alright. I think this is where we're gonna call it. Kind of interesting. The quartering is not following Scott Pressler. Is not only following Scott Pressler, but Scott Pressler is following the account he's on. Oh, the burner account. Interesting. Oh, what a surprise. Scott Pressler is part of the gay ops. Anyway, I think that's probably where we're going to call it. We've done enough doom scrolling. Hope you guys have had a good night. Enjoyed the show. Talked about various different topics. Shout out to the people who came on in the chat. Ian, Maza, of course. we meme and make fun of Mazza, but he's a cool guy. He's probably going to feel bad and weird about me complimenting him. But he's a fun streamer, really entertaining. Way more entertaining than me. You should go check out his channel, especially if you're into like gaming streams. The autism is real over there. But yeah, this is what we're going to call it. Make sure if you're catching on the VOD, like, share, subscribe, all of that. Anybody who's here watching right now, appreciate you guys. You guys are what make this whole thing go around. We'll be back with more videos. I know I said I'd have more videos in between this stream and the last stream, but to be honest, life just gets in the way, and I didn't have time to make a video edit. I ended up having to take care of my kid and not take her into daycare one of those days. So, yeah. Anyway, hope you guys have a good night. We'll talk to you again later. Gaming stream on Thursday. Probably not going to be a stream in between those at any time, but definitely more videos, stuff like that. Hopefully out tomorrow. I have a packed day tomorrow. I got to be traveling to another town back and forth. It's going to take up hours of my day. Making business deals. I have to buy a car tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. And I have to talk to banker people, and it's not going to be fun. But yeah, you don't need to hear any of that. But I appreciate you guys. See you later. Have a good night. We'll talk to you again later.